Check 1, 2.
Money. All right. Last time we're gonna do that. Cool. If we could start over and talk about, who you are, what do you do?
Okay. King Saladeen, artist, entrepreneur from West Philly. Me personally, I got into the art world so unconventionally, and I'm gonna just keep it super real, bro, because when I say what I do, it comes from an opportunity standpoint, because everything was an opportunity for me to be able to say, this is what I do, you know what I mean? Me trailblazing, being disruptive pretty much with paintings and being able to like get corporate deals and things like that, I just always reinvested in myself. So when the galleries wouldn't buy my art, I would put the money up to be able to be in the same art fairs right next to their gallery and sell everything out. So I've just been super blessed, bro, to have the opportunity to be my first, I'm gonna say the first medium that people know me of is, I'm a painter, I'm a contemporary artist. Some might say street artist. I would say contemporary artist, just self-taught contemporary artist, you know what I'm saying, from the inner city. Everything I got an opportunity to do, bro, I killed it. Like I've always wanted to make sneakers. I always wanted to do that stuff, you know what I'm saying? So when I got the opportunity to do it, I just put those ideas, that feeling, and that time into all that stuff, you know what I mean? Like me painting was the easiest way to express myself, It was a cheap medium. My grandfather was an artist. God rest his soul, he just passed away on Friday. My uncle was an artist, so growing up in my house, or my grandmother's house, all the artwork on the walls were from my family. You know what I'm saying? So being able to see that as a kid and already having that in my DNA for real, it's like, it's only going to just spark the flame. You know what I mean? So over the years, I've always been into art, always loved video games, cartoons, anything, reading the back of cutting the back of the cereal boxes and keeping them and putting them on my walls when I was little, just little stuff, bro, that just always made me feel like I was different. So I didn't grow up being taught to paint, taught design, taught architecture, anything like that. You know what I mean? I just always had this creative bone in my body and the DNA from my family to be able to like make something a little bit cooler, And now we working on jean jackets, and the first thing I thought about was like, I used to make $200 for like doing my friend's jean jackets real quick as a kid. Like you know what I mean? People's parents paying me to put Bart Simpson and all kinds of stuff on the arms and Fruity Pebbles, like literally whatever these kids wanted, I could like pretty much do. Not to the point now, but like then I could really like create a vision for somebody on a material, a jacket, a hoodie, on the side of their skates. Skating was real big in Philly when I was young. So everybody wanted to have like, their names on the skates, or West Philly from North Philly. I'm from South Philly. They just wanted stuff like that. And I would just get hit up by my friends like, yo, him, you want to make $50? And I'm like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that was just always one of my easiest ways to like make an extra quick bucks. It was like me using my brain and getting a little paint, some markers, and figuring it out. You know what I mean? So when I say I'm a contemporary artist, entrepreneur, this is because I'm an artist, I'm gonna say multifaceted artist, you know what I mean? Because I've done baseball cards before. I've painted Lamborghinis, you know what I mean? We're working with patches now on vintage jackets and all kinds of, NFC things, and like the Web3. It's like I've done NFT drops. I've worked for whatever the opportunity is, I'm gonna try to educate myself as much as I can. And if I can't do it to where I think it's gonna be amazing, I won't take the situation. You know what I mean? So all of these different things and opportunities landed in my lap, which I could say, yeah, I'm a Web3 designer and this and that, but I'll just say contemporary artist, creator, entrepreneur. You know what I mean? Because creator can be anything, you know what I mean? So pretty much that's me in a nutshell.
What were some early experiences with art? You said you've always been a creative person and stuff like that. Was there something that drove you to art? Was there a specific time in your life where kind of you took art more seriously?
So art's always been in my house. Always been in my mom's house, my grandmom's house, and things like that. So being young and already having the DNA from my grandfather doing art, my uncles doing art, that's what always had it on my mind. me having it in my blood and just trying it and just wanting to do cool things is because I was always seeing art, you know what I mean, in my family. What kind of really set me down was a car accident with my mom. So I was 15 years old, bugging my mom to take me to go get a Versace t-shirt. This is the full story. Going on a class trip, it's pouring down raining outside. My mom tells me no 5,000 times. I asked her, Mom, I need this Versace t-shirt. Please, please take me down there. We wound up getting in a crazy car accident. Drunk driver hits us. My mom has to get like the jaws of life out the car. I have abrasions all to my face. I'm bleeding. It was just a crazy situation. This is me at 15, right? So with being in that situation, I wasn't able to go to school. I was in the hospital for about a month, had to rehabilitate for about 2-3 months. So in that time, in that crazy time, I was able to get back to my art because playing basketball and different things and me having my first girlfriend and being 15, I kind of stirred away from, you know, the things that I used to do as a younger kid, and that was sit in the house, paint, draw, do all kinds of creative stuff. You know what I mean? I was in my jock era. You know what I mean? So that accident literally was the thing that set me down, and I started thinking about like, what am I going to really do with my life if I was to ever get hurt and not be able to play basketball? Like, if this situation was different, where one of my legs got cut off in this car accident or something, or I broke my knees, what would I love to do? What would I like to do? And it was art. So that was the thing that kind of like God gave me that sit down to like prepare me for later on. You know what I mean? So I think that's what it would have been. Yeah.
You know, once you got back to playing, you were back in school doing that type of stuff. Did you kind of mentally give up on, not give up on basketball? You were still playing probably.
Nah. I went crazy with it. I went like super in. You know what I mean? On basketball, because it was like I was dying to play. You know what I'm saying? So it was like nothing was wrong with me bone-wise or like ligament-wise. I didn't get really hurt. It was just like the glass broke into my face. And it was just a crazy situation, you know what I'm saying? So once I got back to basketball, I was like I loved basketball. Art was something that I was born with, and I didn't have no way how to control what I could do with it other than just sitting around doing stuff, you know what I mean? So basketball was the one thing that I was getting like praise for, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I got to get back on the court. And, you know, I just wanted to play. So, but in the midst of it, I never was like, okay, no more art. It was just my wake up call. That was like my wake up call from God that I would have never got playing basketball. And I never wanted to be the guy that was like, you know, still at the court, you know, you're 26, 27, and you talking about high school and you don't have nothing going on. You never figured out what you can really do other than play a sport. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't want to be that guy. So, I mean, creativity was just always my thing. And I never thought I would be living off of it, but I always had these daydreams and these ideas and just like looking at shoes. Like when my mom or family member would take me to go get shoes, you know, I would get Jordans and things like that because everybody else wanted them. And I liked them too, but I was kind of like, why did they do that? Like I would have made this. I just was always in my own head, like designing, kind of like, well, they should have used that on this sneaker. It would have been better. Instead of just being like, oh, I got some Jordans. You know what I'm saying? So I always knew my brain was like working different. You know what I mean? So just from there,
things differently and stuff like that.
Totally differently. Because my friends wouldn't even, when I would talk to them about my ideas and things I wanted to do, they'd be like, yo, you're tripping, bro. And this is at like 14, 15, 16. After the accident, I really started like creating more because I already had like all these books now, and I'm like, oh wow, now I'm just like creating on top of creating. So
kind of, you know, now transitioning into this side where you're really like honed in on art. What was kind of your first, whether it was your first big project, whether it was your first kind of like moment that you felt like you were established, whether it was a collab, whether it was something like that? What was your first kind of big project you worked on that was really like all in on art?
All right, so I'm gonna say this is like a two-part answer, right? So the first time that I felt accomplished was a spot that we're gonna go to today. It's called First Friday. So first Fridays of the month, they let artists from around the city, which they don't do anymore, which is crazy. I just found out they don't do it anymore. You can be an artist from the city, not be gallery represented, and just sell your art on the street in the gallery district, kind of in Philadelphia. So my best friend JP, he knew about this was going on. He hung out downtown. So he would always say, yo, Heem, you gotta bring some of your art down there. Because he was the only person that knew that I really did paintings. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knew I did t-shirts. I used to work for the company Mntge back in the day, did my own thing, but nobody knew I was working on these paintings but my man, JP. So he would be like, bro, who gonna see your art if you don't bring it outside? And people buying the art downtown on First Fridays, it's next Friday, you should take a few pieces down there. And I'm like, bro, I'm not taking no art outside, standing out there. Like, how do you even do that? He's like, bro, I'm telling you, it's a bunch of dudes down there and they selling art. So I listened, I went, and the first time that I went, it was the first time that I really negotiated selling a painting. You know what I mean? I wanted $250. This person was like, I got 200. I was like, I can't do it. They were like, you just gonna take it? You gonna just leave that 200 on the table? I said, I need 250. I really worked hard on this piece, and you know, hopefully you can go get the 250. I would love for you to have it. And it was one of those things where it was like, damn, I needed the 200, but I knew I wanted 250, and I felt like this painting, I don't know, it was just something in me that was just like the negotiation, right? So the first time I felt accomplished was the person came back maybe an hour later. Yo, man, you made me walk to the ATM, man, but here's the 250. And I was like, damn, I really stood on that. You know what I mean? And I was okay with taking that back in the car and go back home. And so that was the first time I felt accomplished in the art world. You saying the next the biggest thing?
What was kind of your first big collab, your first big project where it kind of was like that, you know, that kickstart for you, that big moment?
Okay, so I'm gonna say again, rest in peace to my man JP, because the one who really was putting it into me like, yo, you have to show your art, bro. Like somebody, like this ain't regular, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, whatever, it's cool, it's in my mom's basement. I'm just like doing it because this is what I kind of do. So he was the one that really, really pushed me, you know what I'm saying? So at that time, he had already passed away from cancer. This is 2013. So when I'm talking to you about this earlier time, my first time selling something at First Fridays is probably 2000, I'm gonna say like around 2009. So by 2011, I had already quit my job. You know what I'm saying? I was working at a job, working with kids. I did real estate before, but this was around the time of the
housing market and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, everything. It was like 2007, 2008 was just real crazy for me because I was I was doing a loan officer. So I was doing all kinds of loans and 100% commission stuff, right? But really kind of rolling. I thought that's what I was going to do, you know what I'm saying? But at that time, I stopped doing art. So when I started making money and doing this mortgage stuff, I stopped doing art. The market crashed, I lose my job, I get my car repoed, I'm at eviction court. It was just crazy, everything happened, right? But I went back to my art. So it was kind of like I was on a different direction, which was making me, you know, I was paying bills, I was buying things, I was living as a young man, but it was like, that wasn't my purpose. So it was like, almost God like taking different things from me at certain points to have me sit and think about like creating and doing art, like literally. So 2013, my best friend passes away. That got me to quit my job, got me to really start showing the world my art, everything. And that's the JP, the Money Bear. That's what the representation of the JP Money Bear is.
I was gonna ask you about that anyway.
Is my best friend JP. So the first project, I think I started going up to New York back and forth, and I met some amazing guys. Shout out to PCNY, my manager Oren now, Wayne, his brother. They bought some art off me one day, straight off social media. And this is how we meet, because I'm trying to like give you a story, because I can tell you exactly how it happened, but me being from Philly, I gotta give you a story because art is just, I have no clue other than God how I'm here. You know what I'm saying? So I meet these amazing guys, they buy art off me, and they start inviting me to New York. So me and JP would always go to New York, but I ain't have nothing to do. We would go party, and then I would have to go back and get back to work. You know what I'm saying? So JP was always just like, yo, you gotta be up in New York, man, you gotta quit that job. So me quitting my job, and then him passing away, I was on go mode. Like, it was like nothing you could tell me that I wasn't going to be successful. You know what I'm saying? So I just started running into amazing people. So I meet Wayne and Oren, and they're connected with everybody, like everybody in New York. So they know me. They know me now. So they you know, they know I play basketball and things like that. And they're pretty much like calling me like, yo, you still play basketball? And I'm talking shit. I'm like, yo, who trying to lose money? You know what I'm saying? So they like, yo, you might as well come up because it's some dope runs up here and we got a situation at the Jordan gym. So I'm like, all right, cool. I come up to New York and I was staying in North Jersey at the time because I was going to New York so much. I had got a little spot out there. And we playing basketball, full circle, comes back to basketball. We went about like 3 or 4 different games, and who's in there is right. It's like Travis Scott's in there, Floyd Mayweather. I'm playing back-to-back games with Chris Brown, a couple NBA players. So it was like I walk into like, yo, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? But me being a baller, I'm like, I'm about to bust these boys' ass. Like they have no clue. They think I'm just the art boy or something. You know what I'm saying? So it was that type of vibe. So I'm sitting next to one of my guys. Shout out to Jeff Chin. Jeff Chin, wherever you at, brother, I love you. He's the one that put me involved with this project called A's for J's for Jordan. So it's pretty much working with public schools in Philadelphia. Whoever had a 4.0 grade point average, they get different certificates and things like that for Jordan merchandise, shoes, everything in like Foot Lockers and stuff like that in Philly. So they wanted me to be the spokesperson for it. I had to do this big 16 by 12 foot wall that would get broken up into every public school and 3 different collaborations with backboards. So when we did that situation, when I got that situation, that was just like, you know, I went from selling paintings to like having a corporate situation. And I'm saying Jordan, it's like I bugged my mom till I was at least to the age I could buy my own shoes to get me Jordans forever, you know what I'm saying? So I think that was the biggest, earliest situation that I ever did. And I just had to tell the story a little bit because it just happened so organically and out of nowhere that it would be hard for me to just be like, yeah, I was painting on my walls, playing basketball, then I was working for Jordan. It's like, you know what I mean? I want to keep it real, you know what I'm saying?
So what was kind of like your inspiration on that piece? What did you paint? Like when you did those 3 backboards, when you did the 3 that got split up, what was the painting of? Okay,
so the painting, I'm gonna try to get you a clip too so we can maybe show it. It was pretty much everything I had inside of me, bro. Like, because I could give you a name of the painting, but it's like, bro, I played basketball, I'm from the hood, I'm from public school, I lost a bunch of my friends to the streets. Bro, I painted everything I had in me because that opportunity, like, that showed me whatever I was thinking when I was 12, 7, 8, 9, 10, that shit had a purpose and it was real. So pretty much, I did like, it was like a collage, bro. It was like a collage of like Jordan, different people playing basketball. It was graffiti. It was a big sky background. It was crazy, bro. It was like, I stayed up for, I think like literally like 2 or 3 days straight, bro, because the deadline that they gave me was so crazy that I was like, this is my opportunity. I can't even go to sleep for real. You know what I mean? And the money that they gave me was like more money that I've seen ever at that time. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, it was just such a blessing, bro. So I pretty much painted everything inside of me that had anything to do with basketball, the inner city, growing up being black, trying to figure it out in America. I wanted to dream. I was actually living my dream at that time, and it was a blessing that came that helped me propel the dream. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't know, bro. I just put everything. It was like if I had one shot to like get on stage at like the Super Bowl and ain't nobody know you. It was one of those type situations where it's like, yo, I might have to do a front flip. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, it was just amazing, man. And then shout out to Jeff Chin and shout out to Jordan for that opportunity.
And talking about collaborations and, you know, just the process of 2 people working together, what do you think, you know, makes a good collaboration? What do you think kind of, taking one thing from one person and one thing from another company, whatever it is, what do you think kind of blending those 2, making it one new piece? Like, what do you think makes a good collab?
I think what makes a great collab is communication, because it's two different entities and 2 different people coming from different worlds, especially when it's corporate and it might be art. So I think it's really communication, and it's just like everybody got to bring something to the table. But we also got to balance it out as well, because, you know, one party might want something that the other party isn't, they not on the same vibe creatively, you know what I mean? So I think a perfect collaboration is like just two entities that people can really, really get together and make something cool and meaningful with a story behind it. You know what I mean? And I think that's what we're doing with this collaboration right now.
Yeah, and telling that story and talking on, you know, the vintage side of things, whether it kind of interests you, what do you think? You know, telling the story of you know, when you have the chip on the jacket, when you have that different stuff, telling the provenance, the traits, like, is that important? I don't know if you collect vintage yourself or what kind of vintage is to you, but like knowing the history behind what you're wearing, the pieces in that, like, what does that kind of mean to you?
So to start off, I'm like a huge fan of Sean Witherspoon. You know what I mean? So before round 2 and all that type of stuff, I would always go to flea markets and things like that, but it wasn't thrifting. You know what I mean? So watching round 2 and literally seeing his journey, that got me into like, yo, how are they finding all this old polo beach stuff? Like, bro, I grew up seeing the older dudes in my hood wear this stuff. The dudes that was getting money, you know what I'm saying, wearing these outfits, and I'm like, you know, and I'm seeing it now in real time when I'm old enough to be able to get it, but I have no clue where it's from. So going to the places like round 2 was like, made my brain go crazy. You know what I'm saying? I remember I bought one of the moon polo coats from the store in New York. And it was just like, I felt so good that I was able to find a jacket like that or a coat like that, you know what I mean? So that's like the real life organic love that I got for the love of like thrifting and just like vintage clothing and vintage art and just vintage everything. I like vintage eras. You know what I'm saying? Like I tap into vintage eras on just art and music. You know, me having my grandpapa around for 92 years. You know what I mean? So I seen different, you know, he's introduced me to, you know, John Coltrane, Sarah Vaughan, Duke Ellington, all these different people where I'm like, you know, so I just think like this is like an organic situation, you know? Patches, I've always wanted to do patches, but I've never really got the people that could do it the right way because my art's so blendy and abstract and colors go here and there and they have to be more like color block. So when I seen the patches, I was like, they killed it. On a vintage Levi's, bro, I have no clue where this came from. This might be from Japan somewhere, you know what I mean? And it's like, just the idea of that is like, that's the coolest shit ever, bro.
We'd like to kind of put the info, the provenance, where it came from, the story behind it, and our team is kind of centered around the fact that we like to tell that story of the piece. And so when you go into that and you tap that,
that's fire.
It's going to tell you all of that information on the piece you have specifically. And so like your piece specific, it'll have the jacket information, but it'll also have pieces from your story and stuff like that. What do you think, knowing like when someone taps that, they have that access to all that information? What do you think that provides to somebody buying your piece?
I think it makes it even better because I'm a contemporary artist. I do a whole bunch of other creative things as well. But one of the things the biggest thing that I'm known for is my artwork, my paintings and things like that. So when you buy a painting from me or anybody or any other artist, you know, that's a reputable artist, you're going to get a certification of authenticity. You know what I mean? So this is just adding to the collection of different works that I've done with a COA on the sleeve. It's like, that's insane, bro. I think that's such the future. It's super cool and it's informable. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you don't have no clue about me, but you just love this jacket and you love the different color schemes or you love the bear on the back, it's almost like you get a full story of the artist too. So it's like you can fall in love with whatever I got going on. So it's really just like going to a museum and be able to just hit, okay, I love this painting, but I have no clue when it's from, who it's from, what part of the world it's from, and you can just hit that on there, and it's like the opportunity to just have the NFC tag embedded into the jacket, whereas though you can actually like, did I mess that up?
No, you were good.
Oh, because I thought it was like, because I was like, then the jacket went up. So to be able to have the opportunity, bro, to have the NFC tag inside of the jacket, so people can actually know who I am, know what I've done prior to this collaboration, and what I feel about the collaboration, because I'm sure some of this is probably going to be when you hit the tag. It's like, that's kind of crazy, man. I just think that's next level, man. That's hats off to y'all for that one.
Yeah. kind of Mntge's whole brand ethos is blending the physical and the digital worlds.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've done some stuff with some NFTs in the past and some projects and stuff like that in the past. How do you think those two worlds are kind of coming together? How do you see the future of blending those two, whether it's in video games, whether it's in
Mm-hmm.
art, whether it's in, how do you see that kind of propelling in the future?
I mean, just look at what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I see people outside walking with the Apple goggles on. It's like, bro, it's Ready Player One now. You know what I mean? It's just whatever group that you're connected to. You know what I mean? So I just think it's perfect because, for one, you can do whatever you want to do, but if it's about community, you know what I mean? That's the one thing that I learned about in the digital space, in the Web3 space, was pretty much community and doing what you say you're going to do. So it's almost like a family that you can't let down. You know what I mean? So from that perspective, it's the next level of communication in this world. You know what I mean? And it's like people are closer on social media sometimes than the people that they actually know. It's like, it's really, really weird. So I just think that this is a great situation because, for one, that's the type of artist I am. I'm a painter. I've done 2D. And now into 3D. So, we worked on toys, we worked on shoes, we worked on all different types of mediums. So now, me working in the NFT space in the past, it's been like super cool. I've been able to learn and meet so many amazing people. Even got to work with Gary Vee and V Friends and things like that. So I just think it's just full circle, bro, where it's like the right people that you need to meet they are going to be in the digital world. So it's kind of like, if you can do what you got to do in the physical world and really have a resume to bring over to the digital world, so people know that it's not going to be a rug pull. It's not going to be a situation where it's like, he's just in this for the money. It's like, I think it's even better. And I think that's what I bring to the table.
Yeah. So kind of talking about those patches specifically and the designs you have, the bear on the back, whatever maybe walk us through quickly or briefly the different designs that you have, whether it's the Dream Big, each one of them, and kind of like where you got the inspiration from them, or like what the meaning is behind them.
All right, so it's really, really cool because I was thinking about this when I picked these actual designs because they all meant something to me and they all were a design for something that I did for a project. So these were the more vectored artworks that I could, send over to get done the right way, because if I did a painting, it would be so hard getting threads. And so the patch opportunity was amazing, but it was my first time as well. So I had to really just think about what was going to represent and look the best with the best story to tell. So the Dream Big is pretty much my slogan since I left my job in 2011. I wrote Dream Big on everything, almost every project that I had, just leaving my job and things like that. That was just my quote, you know what I mean? So this is pretty much the quote, one of the quotes that I live by, Dream Big. This was Art Basel, I think 2019's merch. So this was like the merch that was on the back of the hoodie. Every hoodie was like hand painted. It was like super cool. It was like a super cool project, limited to 100. And that was really, really cool. And 18 was like a really good year for me. So I wanted to put that in there as well. And I thought it could be embroidered pretty cool, This right here was 2023's F1. So I did a project at F1 Miami, and we did a few like cool racing, vintage tire shop, different inspirations and things like that. So this is the idea that I came up with for F1 when we did that opportunity. I got that opportunity. The bear on the back, that's my dog JP. Rest in peace. My best friend passed away from cancer in 2013. My super motivation made me quit my job because he said people had to see my artwork, and he said, when you quit your job here, I'm gonna make sure I give you a couple dollars. You know what I'm saying? So when I quit my job, he was the first person I called. I remember this like yesterday. He gave me $4,000 in $10 bills, and I went to the nearest art store, bought canvases, bought paint, and people didn't see me for like 2 weeks. So when my man passed away, I had to have some kind of logo, emblem. I had to have something that represented him. And at the time, it was just me drawing things that represented him. And I remember me going through my books one day with him, right? And this is kind of off course, but I remember me going through my books with him, sitting in my basement, paintings everywhere, pretty much like this, but not this big, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, man, that stuff cool, but you need a logo. You need a Nike sign, bro. He's like, because if I went and seen that artwork, I wouldn't know you did that. I would have to ask somebody. I'm on the move, bro. I ain't got no time. I just like what I see. So he was saying that you needed a Nike sign. He was going through my books, and at the time, it was the College Dropout album, right? I'm at work. I'm redrawing this bear 50,000 different ways, right? Shout out to Takashi Murakami. Gave me the super inspiration to turn this bear into like a Philly bear. You know what I'm saying? I had Mitchell and Ness on the bear. I changed the eyes. I changed the shape of the face. But it was from that idea of that artwork. You know what I mean? He was looking through my books and seeing it and was like, bro, this is crazy. I can see this on everything. And this is him telling me this in 2009. Yo, bro, I can see this bear on everything. And it wasn't even to the point of how it looks now because it got reformed and all kinds of different stuff over the years. But it was the sketch of pretty much this JP the Money Bear. And he seen that in the midst of paintings everywhere. The book had 1 million sketches in it. He said, bro, I can see this on everything. And he wasn't saying Ferraris and all the stuff I've been doing. He was saying, yo, I can see this on hoodies, book bags, everything. And I'm just like, I don't know, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't know. Because he didn't know art, but he just knew good stuff. So he was just like, just saying that, you know what I mean? So the JP the Money Bear came years later after he passed away. And I was like, let me maybe start working on this Nike sign of mine. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it went.
What could be either some advice you could give or just some words to people that are doing art or trying new things, trying new mediums, current artists that are established or wanting to try new things? What do you think is some advice you could offer to them, obviously being someone that's done a bunch?
What I would say to anybody that's just want to get into the art world, or you're in the art world and you're kind of stuck, or, you know, it gets crazy. I would just say never stay in a box. Because at the end of the day, it's like, if you're a creator, if you're an artist, it's like, this is what we're here to do. You know what I mean? You might have had luck at something. You know, certain years for me, it was all about paintings. In another year, it was about me working on an iPad, learning how to do digital artwork for certain projects and things like that. So I think if you're an artist, you could just adapt. You know what I mean? And you're supposed to adapt. You're supposed to try to get into different things. And it's about networking and meeting people. So if you stay in a box, you're only going to know the people that's in that box or around the corner from that box. It's just not the best thing for business and for inspiration. You know what I mean? So what I would say is just like, try to get around people that think big, that dream big, that have ideas that scare you. You know what I mean? You should always stay motivated, because no matter what other people do, it got to be about the self-motivation and no ego. You know what I mean? That's a big one, no ego. Like, I literally slept on couches in LA when I was just telling you, I was staying at my friend's house. You know what I'm saying? My cousin let me stay on his couch for about a year and a half. That's how I found out about Art Basel in Miami. It's just like periods and times of your life where it's like, it's not going to be lit. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be lit. It's going to be fun. Because no matter how much money I had, it was fun when I really stepped out on faith and was like, I'm going to leave this up to God, but I'm going to bust my ass every day. I'm going to work, I'm going to create, I'm going to play the music as loud as possible. I'm going to get me a studio one day, but the basement, this is where it's at. And if you don't really have that mindset, then I think, you know, being an entrepreneur and being a creator is totally not for everybody. It's hard enough being a creator, waking up, being motivated, trying to make it, paying bills. So if I would tell anybody, I would just say, like, really, you gotta have faith. Like, you gotta have faith. You gotta understand that, like, it's light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I'm saying? And that was that Jordan project for me, because I've worked so hard selling paintings, arguing with people, doing t-shirts, working for this company, things not going right. And it would be like, you get that opportunity to spread your wings, and it's like all the grinding. It come to pass. You know what I'm saying? It's like almost like how Kobe talked when he's like, yo, you gotta really go to the gym because I can make those shots because I shot him 1,000 million times. The same position, you just standing in front of me. You don't know what I'm doing, you don't know where I'm going. I do though. It's like you gotta have that Mamba mentality, bro, with everything. And like basketball, that helped me with with life and just pushing on and just like being inspired. Like my grandfather died, bro, Friday. Some people will be in the house chilling. Some people will be like, oh man, I'm just, no. No, he was 92 years old, amazing man, and he gave me the game. So it's kind of like, it's always go time. You know what I'm saying? Even when you got things going on in your life, put that in the art. Put that to the music. Put that into the creativity. Put that into the project. And it's gonna be what it's gonna be, because everything happened for a reason. And you just gotta do what you gotta do. So for my people out there, don't give up, have faith, and try to be the best you can be.